El Radio Phoenix presents World News in 5, hosted by Jack Storm. Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're joining us from around the world. I'm Jack Storm, and this is World News in 5, exclusively on El Radio Phoenix. Today, we'll cover the latest developments from the United States, around the globe, Latin America and the Caribbean, business and markets, weather, sports, today's dumbass of the day, and more. Let's get started. America Today. Washington returns to another busy week with lawmakers continuing to debate immigration, federal spending, trade, and national security. Economic attention remains focused on inflation and employment as investors await additional data that could influence future Federal Reserve interest rate decisions. Analysts continue watching consumer spending and corporate earnings for clues about the direction of the economy. Across the western United States, dangerous wildfire conditions remain a major concern as high temperatures, dry vegetation, and gusty winds continue to challenge firefighters. Several communities remain under evacuation alerts, while emergency officials are urging residents to prepare for rapidly changing conditions. Emergency managers across Florida, the Gulf Coast, Puerto Rico, and the Caribbean are also reminding residents that August marks the beginning of the most active part of the Atlantic hurricane season, and now is the time to review emergency plans. World Watch. Climate continues dominating international headlines. Large sections of Europe remain under pressure from extreme heat, drought, and wildfire conditions. Water shortages have affected reservoirs, agriculture, and local communities, while governments continue discussing climate adaptation and emergency response measures. Diplomatic efforts also continue regarding conflicts in Eastern Europe and the Middle East as world leaders monitor the impact on energy supplies, shipping routes, and global markets. Latin America and the Caribbean. Now, here's your expanded report from across Latin America and the Caribbean. Mexico. Mexico continues battling heavy accumulations of sargassum seaweed along its Caribbean coast. Cleanup crews remain active in Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and Tulum as officials work to protect tourism and marine ecosystems. Security operations targeting organized crime also continue in several regions of the country. Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador. Governments throughout Central America continue preparing for the possibility of a powerful El Niño later this year. Meteorologists warn that prolonged drought could threaten agriculture, water supplies, and food security across the region. Belize. Belize continues reporting a strong tourism season while officials monitor tropical weather across the Caribbean. Costa Rica. Costa Rica remains a regional leader in renewable energy and environmental conservation while continuing to expand sustainable tourism. Panama. The Panama Canal continues operating as one of the world's most important trade corridors, with officials closely monitoring global shipping patterns. Cuba. Cuba continues facing fuel shortages, rolling blackouts, and economic challenges. Residents across the island continue experiencing periodic interruptions to electricity service. Haiti. International humanitarian organizations continue providing assistance as Haiti struggles with ongoing security challenges and preparations for national elections. Dominican Republic tourism remains strong throughout the Dominican Republic as government agencies continue hurricane preparedness efforts ahead of the busiest weeks of the season. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's emergency management officials continue encouraging residents to review evacuation plans and replenish emergency supplies before tropical activity increases. Jamaica and Bahamas. Both Jamaica and the Bahamas continue enjoying a busy summer tourism season while emergency agencies monitor weather conditions across the Atlantic. Trinidad and Tobago. Energy exports remain a major driver of Trinidad and Tobago's economy as officials monitor fluctuations in global oil and natural gas markets. Colombia. Authorities continue strengthening security measures as the country prepares for future national elections and works to combat organized crime. Venezuela political negotiations backed by international partners continue as Venezuela explores a path toward future democratic elections while recovery efforts continue following recent devastating earthquakes. Guyana. Guyana remains one of the world's fastest-growing economies thanks to offshore oil production, with energy revenues funding new infrastructure, schools, healthcare, and housing. Ecuador. Ecuador continues expanding police and military operations against organized crime while strengthening port security. Peru. Peru's new administration continues outlining economic and public security priorities while working to attract new investment and restore political stability. Bolivia. Inflation, energy policy, and regional trade remain major political issues as Bolivia continues pursuing economic reforms. Chile. Chile continues investing in renewable energy while winter weather affects portions of the southern regions. Argentina. Argentina continues balancing inflation concerns with efforts to encourage investment and expand exports while maintaining regional trade relationships. Uruguay. Uruguay continues reporting steady economic performance and remains a regional leader in renewable energy development. Brazil. Brazil's presidential campaign continues gaining momentum as candidates travel the country focusing on economic growth, public safety, taxation, and international relations ahead of October's election. Money and markets. Global markets continue watching inflation, interest rate expectations, and energy prices. Oil prices remain sensitive to geopolitical developments, while economists continue monitoring employment data and consumer spending for signs of economic strength. Investors are also watching the possible effects of El Niño on agricultural production throughout Latin America, which could influence global food prices later this year. Weather Watch. August marks the beginning of the most active period of the Atlantic hurricane season. Forecasters continue encouraging residents throughout Florida, the Gulf Coast, and the Caribbean to prepare emergency kits and review evacuation plans. Meanwhile, Europe continues dealing with dangerous heat, drought, and wildfire conditions, while climate experts warn that El Niño could bring severe drought to Central America and flooding to parts of South America later this year. Sports World. Major League Baseball continues with a full schedule today as playoff races begin heating up. Soccer fans can also look forward to CONCACAF Under-20 Championship quarterfinal action, with the United States facing Guatemala and Costa Rica taking on Haiti. Leagues Cup action also continues across North America. Dumbass of the Day. Today's Dumbass of the Day goes to the driver who thought reading text messages while stopped at a red light was perfectly safe. Until the light turned green, traffic moved, and they were still staring at their phone while everyone behind them leaned on the horn. Here's a friendly reminder. Your text can wait. The road can't. Congratulations, you're today's Dumbass of the Day. Closing. Those are today's top stories. I'm Jack Storm, and you've been watching World News in 5 on El Radio Phoenix. If you enjoyed today's broadcast, like this video, leave us a comment, share it with your family and friends, subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily news, music, the joke of the day, and original programming, streaming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Until next time, stay informed, stay safe, and thank you for making El Radio Phoenix part of your day.